Do I need to be like Deidre George co-host? There we go.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Love Amplified.
Love Amplified.
Yeah. Good evening, good evening, everyone out there. You are tuned in to Love Amplified. It's your girl, Akila Trene, and we have our hosts in the building. We have Tommy, we have Deidre George, we have Dontrell Detroit on his way. And I just want to let you know that Love Amplified is intellectual stimulation for your mind, your body, and your soul. And it's now time to increase the intensity and dive deeper into meaningful dialogue regarding the love experience. I'm so happy that I have my girl, Miss Deidre, in the building. And so I'm going to kick it to her. And she is going to give us social media.
Hey, everyone. Hopefully your Sunday has been lovely. We're just going to kick it into the gear. I just want everybody to download the app. Check us out on Instagram at The Love Amplified Podcast. Go over to Facebook. It's The Love Amplified Podcast. Twitter at Amplified The. You know what it is. And also, too, Skype. Check us in live. Live. Just come on in via app. You can call us at 323-900-0478. I'll say that again, 323-900-0478. And chat with us live. We want to hear some questions and just some little feedback. All right?
So wait, so Detroit's not here yet. So I guess I'll tell you about our show today. We're talking about exes. If you follow us already on social media, you probably already know, like, who you said. What are they going to be talking about tonight? So we're talking about dealing with exes, communication with, is it appropriate? What does it look like? In addition, we're going to also talk about some self-reflection, regret, bitterness, about life after relationships, and what to do, how to do. And we're going to find out what Tommy did. That was your segue.
Come on, Tommy. Let's go.
What you doing last week?
No, I'm just saying. Because Tommy just celebrated a birthday. If y'all were tuned in last week, he made 26. He's like, I'm still young enough to share my age. It's nothing.
Looking like
wait, 93?
93.
Oh, wow. We
I'm
80s,
sorry.
baby. I'm sorry. We 80s.
Right. Well, Tommy in the building.
So I want to hear about it.
So on my birthday, which was a great day actually.
Yeah.
So my ex hit me up saying happy birthday. I didn't know.
Well, now.
Okay.
I really didn't know whether like to cuss her out. I was a little like on the fence.
What you mean, happy birthday?
When's the last time you talked to her though? Like has
Before
it been,
the birthday.
Like, yeah.
The birthday prior.
Oh, so it's been a good year.
A year.
Yeah.
So basically, she uses the birthday. Oh, I don't know. So you never hit her up. You don't hit her up.
No,
for her birthday.
I have hit her up just to see if I could still slide. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But I don't get no reply though.
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah.
She just letting you know.
Yeah.
I got those other messages.
Basically.
It's not good, but
Basically.
I hope you're good.
But like, I'm gonna tell you how slick she is. She hits me up on Snapchat. So I don't have her number though. So like, yeah. So it's just like Snapchat. She just Snapchats me happy birthday.
Okay.
And like, we were talking the whole day. You know what I mean? From there, but I never had her number. So every time I hit her on Snap, she just opened it and like, can I come see you? Or you know what I mean? Nothing. I get nothing. I get nothing at all. But she wants to know where I live. She wants to know everything. But you know what I mean? But we can never link up.
That's very interesting. So on your birthday, did you guys end up hooking up or going out?
We didn't end up hooking up. We just ended up talking actually, and like got kind of weird. I think she's still upset. You know what I mean? Over, you know what I mean? I got some revenge because she cheated on me.
Oh.
So I
decided,
so I decided to mess with her homegirl.
Oh no.
You know, and it happened like 3 times.
Oh,
yeah.
Tommy.
That.
so like that's yeah. And I sent her the messages and all that. So I was really petty, you know.
Yeah.
So it made me feel good for the moment.
All right.
Well, now that you're 26, are you still
Right.
petty?
Right.
I think
Nah,
I'm still
he's
petty.
like, nah, I'm still petty.
I'm not
26 didn't change
yeah,
nothing.
The maturity's not there yet.
In due time.
That's so, guys, right?
Right.
The petty hopefully leaves by the 30s, but you know,
Right.
I hope that that'll be the case.
We mature late. I was told.
Yeah.
We-
Or
look,
at
we
all.
know that. We know that.
Or at
clearly.
all. You know. We hope that at some point
Yeah.
the maturity comes, but you know, it doesn't come
Yeah.
for all. At all. It's like I'm doing this for because I think about that sometimes when I would happen to tune in to maybe like a Love and Hip Hop, and then you have somebody like Peter Guns
Yeah.
or what's the other one?
Detroit.
The one who was dating. He was a manager,
Okay.
and he was from the New York Love and Hip Hop.
Uh-huh.
Him, like I'm just thinking, like y'all are old, like y'all are
Too old for this.
past your 40s. You know what I mean? Still trying to have these babies and not being faithful, not
Right.
being honest, trying to, you know, like
Right.
come at some point, you know. But some people want to, you know, want to be a
But-
player for life, right?
And then it comes down to everybody got different boundaries and what they think what love is and what really constitutes love in their life. And then some people it
Or
is for that
commitment.
commitment, you know what I mean? And with the Love and Hip Hop, like it's all business and it's money.
Right,
You know,
right.
it's like how much would you put yourself out there just for $1 for a check? Like, are you know,
Well, people
some
out here
people-
putting
listen, all
everything on the line.
of it, all of it. So
I want it all.
Women are petty
Man.
too, though.
Some women are petty. I agree. Not
Some.
all.
Yes, this is
That's-
this is true. And Detroit he just loves to talk about petty women and anything that he can speak negatively
It gets
of the
petty.
women.
Oh,
So he just chimed right on it. Oh, just so y'all know, yes, Detroit just walked in the building. Hey, Detroit, welcome to the
Detroit.
show.
Hola. I personally think petty is a personal trait. And you guys perfect it so well, it's more like a virtue.
Wow.
He tries to flower it.
He did.
Just flower it so well.
A
so
virtuous
well.
petty woman. Okay.
So well.
Has no one here ever been petty?
Nope.
I've
I don't even know
experienced-
how to be
I've
petty.
experienced it with you. You?
Are you coming for Deidre?
I'm asking.
You know what? Let's say it like this. I wouldn't say that I'm a petty
Semantically
one.
speaking.
I'm for real. I'm so serious.
What's your definition of petty?
Petty is like just finding ways to.
I'll give you a synonym for it.
Okay, come on.
Unnecessary.
Oh.
And I don't think anything that I've done is
Unnecessary?
unnecessary.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like
agree.
I
don't
could
have
be
time.
petty. Like I be wanting to be petty.
And you know how to be
think
petty.
And I know
petty
how
is
to
good.
be
I'm not
petty.
gonna stoop
So,
to that level.
so wait, so have you never made a conscious decision to where you could have passed on a jab, but gave a jab anyway?
If we're talking about verbally,
it
then
doesn't-
yes, I'm
then-
verbally
right.
petty.
If I felt attacked in that moment, we speaking past tense. Yeah, I probably threw it out there just for the sake as look. I'm gonna stand my ground too.
How'd you feel after though? How'd you feel like after you did? Did you feel good or did you?
Did I feel good?
Oh, like did you feel like
If I
it
have to
needed
say
that?
something that is unnecessary and that I really don't want to say, I
Somebody
don't
push
feel
you
good.
through.
I don't feel good after
Yeah.
that. Because there was something worse I could have said.
Yeah.
So I chose the lesser of the evils, but the fact that I had to say that,
Right.
it just makes me mad. Like why did we have to come to this?
I see
You know?
But
Go ahead.
too, and I would add to that because put it this way, even when I think back on like being in a relationship and I was like you say learning myself to the point where I'm like, why is this person bringing out all the mean and evil in me? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like how is it that this person that I'm supposed to be loving and all this, it just like you bring in like a whole Deidre that I didn't like. But to that, it was me learning myself and the limits that I'm not going to allow you to put me in a position that I have to stoop to that level to even demean you or you know what I mean. So to that is that's my defense.
So you've experienced.
I've experienced.
Okay, I can take that, but I do want you to know that standing your ground and being petty are two separate things.
Well,
You know what I'm
that's my
saying?
definition.
You know what I'm saying? See, like her, she was truthful about it. I could be petty. It's either be petty or go for the jugular,
Right.
and I don't want to go for the jugular.
So
I'ma
petty
be-
is
I'ma be
like
petty.
it's nice.
For you, yeah, I'll take that.
Okay.
Every girl I dealt with was petty to me.
That's what I say. Like
Maybe
I've never,
that's maybe that's how you guys
But
perceive it to be. So you have to give me an example.
Right, I'm
so
also
then
in
I
the
can say like,
25
okay, yeah, that is
28,
petty.
so
I
right
can
now.
see how that's petty.
So
Go ahead, because
Yeah,
I mean, he's
Like-
dealing with the younger generation. And
Yeah, it is a different
So
generation.
like pettiness with me, like
Yeah.
I had to kick a girl out of my car one time.
Ooh.
After like, and I actually liked the girl after a date. Like
You
we ca-
kick somebody.
Yeah.
See, y'all
Out
are
of my
really
car.
petty.
Well, I did it twice.
That's
I did it
next
twice.
level.
That's
Wait,
real
in the same
life
girl?
petty.
No, two different girls.
well, then
I
you
did
just
twice.
petty.
Come
Then
here,
you
you
No,
petty.
guys.
I'm gonna tell you why though.
I know I'm not
no.
petty.
On that
I'm
note,
that's
I'm not
petty.
in that bracket.
No, I'm gonna tell you what happened.
Tom,
I'm gonna tell
you
you.
on your own.
He's already said he's petty.
He's
He's admitted to
Yeah,
it.
Okay, okay.
I'm gonna tell you what happened though.
Okay.
First one was my ex-girlfriend.
Okay.
So
Okay.
my ex-girlfriend, she calls me. We're supposed to hang out that day. Well, no, the day before. We're supposed to hang out. She says, "Babe, I'm gonna call you when I'm ready." Whatever. So I'm blowing her up like she never hit me like to tell her she's ready. So I'm blowing her phone up like, "Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?" I get nothing. 5:00 in the morning, I get a phone call. Like, I said, "Hello." She said, "Can you come get me?" I
Oh.
said, "Where you at?" She said, "I'm at a Motel 6." I'm like, "What Motel 6? Off of what?" So I live in Fontana,
What
California.
kind of women you
Uh-huh.
dealing with?
She tells me that she's in Rialto, which is the next city over
Right,
where I live.
right. Yeah.
So she tells me I'm in Rialto. So I'm like, okay, which street? Because I'm from LA, so I really don't know
Right,
Fontana. So I'm like,
right.
Rialto. So I'm like, what street? She says I'm off Sierra. I'm like, Sierra? That's the next street over. That's Fontana. Like you don't even know what city you're in. You're like you're here.
Wow.
And she's like, well, can you come get me? I said, yeah, I can come get you.
You're such a good guy. For
I-
that.
No,
you
he.
know-
Why did
you
what did
wake
she have
up?
to
Hold
give
on.
you?
No,
to come
hold
get
on, hold on. So we get in the
Come on,
car.
Right.
So
Let's not go there.
this is Thanksgiving morning actually. I mean, keep that in mind. So my mom's up already cooking dinner. So
That's
like
very
you know what
big
I
of
mean?
him now.
So
No, it's
so-
not. He
so
had
now-
cruel intentions.
Oh, definitely. So so I tell my mom. My mom already knows. She's like, you got that look in your face.
Right.
Like you know what I mean. Like what she do now?
Right.
So I was like, don't.
Mama
I said,
knows.
I gotta go get her. Get in the car. The whole way I'm driving. I'm like, I'm mad. I'm listening to Bobby Womack. I'm just upset.
He
You know,
said
you
Bobby
think you're
Womack.
lonely now.
Wait until tonight.
So I call her up, pull up to the motel, call her up. I said, I'm here. She said, okay. She comes out. I'm trying to like look inside, see who's in there. I can't see who's in there.
God.
So I'm saying, so she get in the car. I'm saying, so who are you with? She's like, I was with Shannon and a couple of friends. I'm like, okay. You know what I mean? Keep in
He's
mind.
so petty. He keeping all names clear. He
I'm
said
on the
streets,
freeway.
Motel 6, Sierra,
Yeah.
Shannon. Her name Deborah.
I get on the
and-
freeway. I get on the freeway. My goal was I was gonna put her out in my head. I was already gonna put her out. So I was gonna wait though.
Dang.
She lives in
Premeditated petty.
Yeah, she lives in Beaumont, which is Beaumont's like an hour away from my house.
Man.
So I was gonna make sure I get far enough from the motel where she can't walk back, and call, and far enough from Beaumont
I'm
where
dead over here.
she can't walk that way either. Like you just gonna be stuck in the middle of the freeway. You know
go
what
to
I mean?
jail for stuff like that, bro.
So
You're an accessory when something happens to her.
So I'm 19 at the time. I'm 19. I'm not thinking. Well, I'm 19, 20 at the time. So
Maybe 21.
so I'm driving, talking to her. I'm like, yeah. So how was everything? It was a nice day. So I stop in the middle of the freeway. Keep in mind, it's like 5 o'clock in the morning. So nobody's on the freeway. I stop in the middle of the freeway and I say, get out. I just tell her, get out. You want to disrespect me?
Oh my God.
You need to get out my car right now. You know what I mean? So, she gets out crying and stuff like that. I swoop around, you know what I mean? I was going to...
So you were playing games, pretty
Yeah,
much.
basically.
You gonna come and get her,
Yeah,
but
but I was going
okay.
to let her feel like, you know what I mean? Like she just stranded. Because that's how she made my heart feel for that night. You know what I mean? I was hurt, so I had to let her feel what I felt.
I get it.
So.
Hurt people.
And she cheated on me that night, too.
And
come
she
to find
cheated
out.
on you.
Well, I mean,
at that point, she
right.
deserved to be stranded.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you were picking her up
It
from
was
the
time.
motel.
It was
I'm
time.
saying,
Oh, yeah, she should've went
That was the
So-
last time she was in your car, though?
No, she
Okay,
got
you
back
know
in.
what? We're gonna move on.
Okay, so we'll just get into it because
Yeah,
we
let's
into
get
it already.
into it.
So an ex, just for
Clarification.
definition clarification purposes, is a former spouse or partner in a long-term relationship. I made the executive decision to define long-term at least 6 months or more. Okay, so when we put it into perspective, so this ain't you met somebody, I was talking. That's not an ex. That's just a former whatever.
What if you met somebody
If
and
I
y'all
met-
was friends,
Uh-huh.
and in 3 months you was having sex, but then she dated him because it wasn't technically your ex? Y'all still friends?
Right, but that's not because she's dating an ex per se. That's what I'm saying by definition.
I was
By the
asking- I was
definition, I
asking
know
if
because
they
you're
have-
trying. I know how you are, Detroit. But for definition, we will say that that's not really an ex in what we're talking about, because there's so many probably people who can qualify as maybe somebody you talk to or whatever, but the standard, or I guess when it comes to these questions and like what we're really talking about, like you might really keep in touch with somebody that was a friend that you just smashed, you know what I mean, but y'all still have a cool relationship, but that's not really an ex because y'all didn't have that longevity and the commitment and the, you know, whatever. So for context of definition and clarification of this conversation, that's what we're using. And we got a little static or something.
What if you dated for somebody for like a month? Is that considered an ex?
Well, for the context of this conversation, we're not going to count the month.
So we're
Okay,
counting
unless
everything.
it just, you know, because you're younger, so you know what I
Right.
mean. If it did something to, I think it was the phone, whoever somebody moved the phone and the static stopped. I don't know whose phone. Sometimes it picks up like, you know, the feedback from the phone.
And in that context, is it referring to if you were engaged and married and all that? Because
Yeah.
all that
Yeah, all of
constitutes-
that,
So that's
all of that.
in. So it's to that
So
level.
What if she got engaged in 2 months?
Well, it's still concept.
well,
it's
that's
a
still
level
long.
of
That's
commitment.
still long term
Yeah.
relationship, and that would still be a former
Right.
like spouse type of thing.
Right.
So you know what I mean? Because you're right, that does happen. Like
Right.
you can get married or
Love at first
engaged
sight.
within, you know.
It's a whole show out there. Love at
Yeah.
first
So
sight,
I feel like
Very
if
true.
you
Married
got
at first sight.
engaged or if you
Right.
got married right away, then yes,
Mm-hmm.
it legitimizes it.
'Cause when I know, I know. Like I can look
As-
at a girl and like
The sex
no.
doesn't legitimize it, I guess. I don't know. Whatever is next to
Sex
you
is
is an
never
ex.
legitimized.
Right? Just like
with you?
X is an X is an X. Who
Right.
cares?
So get into your business.
I was just trying to, you know, give us a little something.
got it.
So, yeah, so let me look at which one of these. I guess the first one we should talk about is communication boundaries with an ex and what that looks like, I guess, for some of you. So before I get into like the technical stuff, Detroit, because we didn't hear much from you last week, so I'm gonna put you on first.
Come on, Detroit.
Oh, okay.
School us, brother.
I'll do my best.
You will, and you do. What should communication boundaries look like with an ex? Or first, are you communicating with exes? How do you feel about that?
All the time. In and out. They come and they go.
In and out.
Yeah. You know
What
what
does that mean?
Not the way you thinking about it.
I'm not thinking about it anyway because I don't want to. I want you to be very clear
So, all right.
all the time.
So-
In and out.
so-
They come and
for the
go.
sake
They,
of being transparent.
yes, please.
Okay.
I'm friends with everybody that I date. I told you that I make that rule.
Yes.
And so even though I may hear from a person every 2-3 years, every 2-3 months or whatever, but in circulation, somebody's usually hitting me up, and 9 times out of 10, I had a pretty good relationship with them, or they were my ex, because I really don't date. I'm a dater, you know what I'm saying? So like it's usually gonna go past 6 months, easy. 'Cause, you know, once you in there, once you committed, you committed. So I do frequently talk to exes, but I don't hide in them either. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't have a passcode on my phone, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't. It's not something. Nothing, but it's. And I've only ever had one because of things that I carry from the outside world. But now since I don't lose my phone as much, it don't really bother me. But so it's not. I'm one of those really candid people where the things that bother you are only things that actually bother you. You know what I'm saying? So like in a relationship, like if I had an issue with my exes being undisclosed, then that's why it's bothering you, because I'm not giving you a chance or showing you why it doesn't. I have the conversation with my girl all the time about the mother of my child, you know, and I was having this conversation with a young lady in my church today, and she's like, "Oh, I can't date a man that has a child," because she didn't know I had a child. And I'm like, "Oh, well, that may or may not change, but, you know, whatever." And she's like, "Well, I can't do the drama." And I was like, "Well, that's kind of crazy because I don't have any drama." Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
you know what I'm
Wasn't
saying?
that perfect timing?
Right. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause when they hit you, you're like, "Whoa, like, what are you talking about?" You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I was like, I don't have any drama. Me and the
Yeah.
mother of my child were like real good friends. You know what I'm saying? Like, if she needed something, she could, you know, need advice, you know, about some dude or life or
It's a
whatever.
different dynamic.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, and that bothers my girlfriend every now and again. She goes in and out of it.
Right.
But anybody that I've dated, it's bothered them because I didn't have drama. But then, you know, they look at it like, well, how could you
Well,
be
what's
so
the-
close?
And they're
Is-
expecting it.
So the main reason that you keep in touch with your exes is one, because initially you make sure that you're friends with the people before you would date them anyway. So your thing is maintaining these friendships, these ongoing friendships with these women.
Friends for me are like loves. They don't die. They may go away. You know what I'm saying? They may be out of your life. There's a homegirl that you love to death. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you grew up with, red light, green light, that you don't talk to every day. But when she comes back around, y'all know what it is, y'all cool, whatever.
Right.
That's how they are for me. So it's not so much maintaining, like I'm keeping, like I'm calling you or making sure you don't get away from me. It's just that my line is always open. And if my phone is here and it rings and it's a number that you don't know and you want to ask, well, we got all the questions and answers for you. You know, and if you feel a certain way, we're gonna talk about it. But in turn, and conversely, I don't feel that way about you either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hope that you have friends that you had before me, because then that would be weird. You know what I'm saying?
So have you ever had an ex that, yes, was a friend, but you were still hoping that maybe you can continue or get back together or rekindle something that you once had? Or is it, once it's over, again, you're communicating because you were cool in the beginning and you just want to be cool for the rest of life?
I've had an ex that I still wanted to be with at one point in time because I thought it ended prematurely and I didn't condone the way it ended. But then once that died, it was what it was. But more times than not, once it goes, it goes. You know, like especially if you leave me, you know, and yeah, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna leave me. Like, I'm not gonna leave them.
So that hope kind of diminishes once they choose to walk out. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, because from the jump, I always set the table for a woman. Like,
Yeah.
I'm a Libra. I can conform to a lot of things. I only need 1 or 2 things to be happy. Once I get that, I'm thriving. You know what I'm saying? So the rest of this is about how can we, you know, what can we do for you? And to your point earlier about growing up and not knowing yourself, a lot of times women say things that they think that they want to hear or want to be about, and it's not necessarily the case. So they're not deliberately sometimes they're deliberately giving you a lie. Other times they don't know who they are, what they're about, and then they get it. They always say you should intern for a job, right? Well, now they get in this position of thinking that this is how they want a life, and it's like, nah. You know, it's kind of like the girl that got the broke dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like, dang, I wish you had more money to take me out. Then they give it to the dude that got more money, but he got to work for that money, so he's never there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just, you know.
Yeah.
When I think about personally exes that I have, I'm like, after the relationship is over, because I think it's not the opposite as if we didn't have a friendship, but most of the time when the relationship is over, because it wasn't set on like, oh, this is a really good friend and I want to, you know, pursue more of this relationship. It was more like, okay, you get to know this person, you know, we get into this relationship, you have a friendship, you know, embedded within the relationship, but once it's over, because they didn't end well.
Yeah.
Not all of them, but like, you know, there was one that just that ended fine, but it was just kind of like I didn't want to be with the person, you know, anymore. But I personally didn't want to maintain communication with him any longer. You know, it wasn't like, because I felt like it ended for a reason. It was a time, it ran its course, it was a season, and then now, you know, I'm ready to move on to the next chapter of life. And when I did in the beginning, I guess once the breakup like first happened, it was like, okay, yeah, I would like to yes, perfect for me.
Did y'all see
I
the
would-
movie?
Yeah, I see
I-
that
No,
last
I
night.
haven't.
Wait a minute.
Fell
I don't-
asleep on it.
No,
What?
stop! I just left the theater last night. I was like, wait a minute.
And every time I woke up, she was like this. I woke up again. She's like, no. I wake up again. She's
Listen.
I'm
Okay,
like,
but, okay,
That's a whole nother thing. Pause.
okay.
I'ma
We
go
did
see it
pause
again.
for the loonies.
Yes, one time for the loop.
I don't have nothing on it because I'm smoke free.
Wow.
But I will say, just let me know. Should I go?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
absolutely.
okay.
I'm going to go see it again.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to.
Were there
gonna
parts
take-
that
'cause
you
I'm
didn't
taking-
understand
No,
and you wanted to see it again, or you just really loved it that much?
The fact, okay, first of all, Jordan is a mastermind.
I
And, like,
believe
Hey,
it. Get
yeah.
out.
fact,
So-
he knows how. Oh,
Get Out could have been a fluke, but then when you see this joint, you like,
yeah,
bro.
Listen.
Oh, he
It's
got
levels.
intentions.
I'm like,
And
You got
it's one of
skills.
those things you need time to process.
Oh,
Oh,
And-
is it, but am I gonna be? I don't like scary movies, and I'm scared of
you-
scary movies.
Look, you're going to be scared.
yeah,
but you're going to
okay.
be
It's
so.
a-
and you know,
enthralled.
black people in
Psychological
scary
thriller.
movies
Yeah.
scare me more because
It's
Candyman.
next level.
Let me tell you,
Oh, and he's coming out. That's already in.
he's doing Candyman.
Yes.
Oh no,
Yes.
Yeah,
I
man.
can't
It's
see
coming.
it. I'm
It's
scared.
coming.
You go-
He's
What's
really
Candyman?
doing Candyman.
Yes.
What's
He
Candyman?
need to stop playing. Oh.
Why everybody do that?
Dang. He's no big. Yeah,
Oh.
we got at least a decade over you, so we,
I can
you
see
know,
that.
yeah.
Really?
Your
Yeah.
parents?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Your mom
Because
probably.
we grew up in the 90s.
Yeah.
You just
Yeah, I'm
93
maybe-
out the wound, right?
yeah.
Okay, what was the
2000.
scariest scary movie for you?
Yeah, and you're
The scariest one was like their old Freddy Krueger movies. Like those are
okay.
classics.
Well, that's our
Yeah,
Okay.
that's-
but they're classics too.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, well, Freddy is a classic.
It is a classic.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, Freddy versus Jason.
Okay.
You know.
That was
That's
too
not a
funny.
classic.
That was fun.
Oh, and
no,
Freddy
no.
versus
Freddy
Jason?
I laughed the entire way through that. In
You
the
gotta
theater.
understand how young I was when the movie came out, though.
Okay.
I
But
was
that's
like-
what I'm saying. Like, okay,
Yeah.
when you
That's
said
Kelly
older,
had the short hair.
Mm.
You know.
when you said old Freddy Krueger, I'm thinking because
Oh,
I stopped
yeah.
at a certain
Nightmare
point
on
where it was
Elm
like,
Street.
Nightmare on
Yeah.
Elm Street. That
Yeah,
was
that-
that's
I've
all I
seen that one.
remember.
But no,
Yeah.
it's like 1, 2, 3, 4.
10.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, I've
So-
probably seen one of those.
your homework
Yeah.
is to go watch Candyman.
No, go watch. You can deal with
Go
that.
watch us first.
You'll be able to deal with
Gotta-
that.
yeah.
Watch us
Yes.
and watch Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Wait. Oh,
What?
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh, I.
Wow. I remember that.
I hated that.
I remember that.
I
movie.
still don't know if I can rewatch it in my adult years.
Oh
But
my
um,
gosh, yeah.
but you know, the
Yeah, it
funny
was
thing
the
is,
Loonies. They did it.
Yeah.
It was that beat, and when that came on
I would
in the car,
look,
even that was kind of scary to me. Just like dun dun dun
Right.
dun. dun. I'm like,
and I like the trailer
ooh.
because they go from this version to the Meek Mill version.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, there's okay.
But we're gonna give homage to where it came from.
All day.
Right.
Mentioned that.
All day, all
Looney's
day.
from Oakland. Let's
all
go.
day. But Trip. So you know me, I like to run parallels. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Okay.
And a lot of times people don't understand
Yeah.
what it's like to be on that other side of that until they're on the other side of that.
Mm.
So let's just take good news for an example.
Uh huh.
When it's done, it's done. They had business ties with us or whatever.
Uh huh.
And then here we are coming back wanting to do this again,
Uh-huh.
and we wanted them to grant us that second chance.
Right.
But the reason why it was granted is because of the rapport.
Right.
Now, granted, it didn't go well the first time. It wasn't
Right.
about that. But at the end of the day, good news knew your character.
Right.
They knew the intent, and
Mhm.
that's why. See, I'm not dating anybody. Like, I was watching I forget the name of the movie, but it's like it got like Tiffany, Taylor Swift, and I can't even think of the other names. But at the end, he was like, "How did you make your marriage work?" And he was like, "Oh, easy. I married my best friend." He was like, you know what I'm saying? He's like,
Yeah.
because at that point, there's nothing that you wouldn't do for that
I
person.
know more of that now
Yeah.
Right.
That you've
in
built.
life
Right.
and
And
had
she-
experiences.
So one of the major decisions that the mother of my child had to make, she called me, and I'm like, "Why are you calling me?" You know what I'm saying? Not like that, but like, you know, I would think you would have somebody close to you in your life. And she was like, "Well, nobody knows me how you know me."
hmm
You know what I'm
that
saying?
comfort. It's,
Yeah.
it's,
Right.
It's
Yeah.
comfort
And the
and
things
security.
that the things that you go through in life, sometimes other people just weren't there.
Yeah.
You know, you can be married now, happily married, but there could be a situation that came up with an ex that you need advisement on that your current husband has no clue about. One, because he's never
Right.
dealt with,
and
or
they've
he
never
wasn't
experienced that
and-
with you.
right. You know what I'm saying? So I hear you, but
Okay.
all I'm saying is, it's almost like this. It's like a past job is good for a reference. You know what
Right.
it is.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You there was growth there, and so if we base things, because you know how I feel about them, 99% of relationships don't work. If we base it solely off that and we sever ties after that, then what? How many times have you gotten into it with somebody because you really liked them, cut off your friends for that person,
Right.
and then that ended, and then what was you supposed to go and run back to?
Right.
That's like burning the bridge back to your mom's house because you left, because you thought you was grown, and then life hit, and now you got to
So
go back.
when you say go back to it just as a place of comfort and security.
No,
That's-
not necessarily. What I'm saying is the reason why I don't just like I'm not closing doors.
But I'm not even saying to go back to be in that relationship. I'm just literally saying like because that was a comfortable place and it was
They were a friend.
they
yeah.
were a friend, right? So not cutting them off because of some rule or some new person that comes into your life that you're getting to know, to cut off a whole person that you
And
have
f- and for
history
what?
with.
And
if
who
there's
made the
no
rule?
if there's
Go
no
ahead.
Yeah, I'm
bad
on a whole
blood.
different.
Go ahead,
point.
DD.
Okay, so this is my thing. I think I see where you're coming from, and it's a valid point, but I see how it could be destructive because I'm like, well, that was an old door. and if I'm stepping into new doors with this new person, then I feel like at this point, everything from the references, like you said, that internship of that past relationship, I should be more equipped to be transparent, to be all those things that I wasn't, to where I don't have to go back to like, okay, let me go back to this old ex because I'm dealing with something I'm not really, I should be willing to open up to that man or that husband right now. He should know everything to the point where, why would I leave that door open? You know, that's just my thing.
I get it.
You know what I mean? 'Cause
Some
that
things
could
are
get
ideology
real
too.
sticky.
No,
So then, with
Right.
if you were to, let's say, get engaged to your girlfriend, and then you guys, go into marriage, will you still have the same level
Nothing
of?
changes.
Okay, so there's still no boundaries.
No,
Right.
I told you a long time ago. I'm gonna be married before I get married, so I'm not gonna go do something post marriage that I wasn't doing. Because if I change it, it could have the ability to make me unhappy to ruin the marriage.
Okay.
And I'm not gonna have her do anything like.
Right.
Marriage doesn't get any easier because you say yes, I do.
It
Right.
don't.
You know what I'm saying? So if
And
some,
that's that real
That's
expectation.
what gets
like
harder.
she
Yeah,
has
so if
to
you-
know
right.
this is what it is. And I
Right.
agree. It's like you have to be on the same page, and you guys have to agree on that mutual expectation. Like this is what it is from.
But then there's still boundaries.
Yeah.
What are the boundaries between your
that-
friendship?
that's per person.
See.
You know what I'm saying? That's no, I'm saying my boundaries with her might not be my boundaries with you.
But
because you're
what is
different.
the boundary line? What are
Right.
you not
Like-
crossing, or is it
Right.
open?
Okay,
You
from
can't
the
ask me
wife,
that.
like from when
So
you're.
so it's open
That's what it sounds
It's
like.
whatever. It's whatever.
because it
she
doesn't matter
allows.
from me to
Oh,
Right.
her to
wait,
her to
that she-
her.
wait,
Right.
But he said that she allowed.
Yeah,
Is
it
that
ma-
correct?
So it's
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we have a conversation. I tell
Yeah.
you, case in point,
Yeah.
we had a conversation yesterday, and she asked me some really, what ended up being profound questions, but I thought she already knew. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, why would you ask me that now? Like, we just had a great day. Why would you ask me now? And she was like, I was just thinking. She like, and you're so, like, don't say you're so eclectic. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many facets to you, boxes that I don't necessarily feel that I don't check either anymore, never would or never will. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to hold you back or restrict you. And I'm like, you don't. You know what I'm saying? And anyway, I need those boxes checked. You do them, if not directly, indirectly for me. So you good. But
That's trust.
And shout out to Didier. He said, make your intentions clear,
Yeah.
which is important just across the board. Like,
Right.
just across the board, just like making it known, like, for real, like what you want, what you don't want, what you're able. But then again, you also don't know until you have those conversations.
or until you go through it.
Or until you go through it,
but to-
but saying something about it and expressing yourself, and then having to understand it, because the reality is that even though you may feel a certain way, even though you may have certain expectations or intentions, the other person may not want to adhere to them,
Right.
or they may not be able to live up to them, or whatever, and then you have to have a real conversation about that.
Right.
which is
as-
it's not a real conversation. You just got to be true to yourself.
Well, when I say real conversation, that's what I'm implying, that you are being honest with
Oh, okay, yeah.
yourself and how you feel, and not giving responses or answers based on what you feel the other person wants you to say.
Right.
Right. Or what you don't like about yourself that you don't think is cool. As long as that stuff is laid out in the beginning, it'll take care of itself.
But at the end of the day, even in the beginning, you won't know, like you say, building, especially when it comes to marriage, it's like you're going to continue to learn, continue to grow. You can lay everything out in the beginning, but that still doesn't make a difference to what's going to happen in the next 6 months.
But that's
or
why
that
she
year.
said that was her that was her
Yeah.
smart remark in
That
the
was
beginning.
smirky.
When she said, when you said love, she said commitment.
Mm,
You know what I'm saying?
see.
That's what that was about. You know what I'm saying? So by that time, I'm in love with you,
Yeah.
or I'm committed to you. So I'm down for this,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what it is. So by the time you reach marriage, you hoping that y'all are
You
deeply committed. You know what I'm saying? Because look, I'm with you. I was thinking, we had this argument, another radio show, and I'm like, love is not a choice. I mean,
It's a choice.
It is a
part
choice.
there's part of it that's not, like, there's an infatuation part of it, where a palpable part that's not, that you can't help, that's chemical.
Or you just saying
But
that organic.
yeah, but staying there, it's definitely a choice.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, the girl I'm with now, I was trying not to date her. You know what I'm saying? Because I tell her all the time, like, I give my imperfections. You know what I'm saying? Like, so. And at the point
Come
where
on, clap,
at the
clap.
point where I felt like I was like, oh, I'm
Sorry,
liking
late.
you, or actually she was liking me because I didn't have a problem with her. I'm like, okay, look, you know what I'm saying? This is a downfall, pitfall. You know what I'm saying? Like, no go,
Yeah,
no go,
yeah.
no go. That's why I won't. Well, none of that stuff bothered me though.
Yeah.
Oh really? well, I guess I got nowhere else to go from there, so we good. You know what I'm saying?
I got a question though.
Indeed.
Yes.
Like with me personally, like I deal with like, say if I like a girl, then like I think I get it from my mother, my upbringing. Like once they start liking me back, like I push away.
So you're a runner.
Yeah, and I run.
What is it
I
that
run.
you're fearing?
Huh?
What is it that you fear?
Getting hurt. Being,
So is
like,
it when it gets too serious? Is that the part?
Yeah,
is that
like-
the time when you begin
like, I
when they
don't
become
know.
exes now?
Well, listening to you guys, obviously I've never been in a serious relationship after everyone you
Look,
guys.
man. Don't let us dictate.
I have never been in a serious relationship, not as deep as you guys are.
Right.
But I've never allowed myself to open up because.
So you're not choosing love.
Well, I guess I was raised by a single mother, and I watched my mom, you know
Experience some
experience and stuff. And like, this is gonna sound weird when I say this, but my mom showed me how weak a woman can be by
That's
her
deep.
being weak.
That's deep.
And it kind of
And it's real, too.
It's real. It's like I can't. It's
Touch me.
as sad as.
I mean, like it hit me in a different way where I was like, dang.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. As sad.
Yeah, you a hug, boy.
Right.
No, as sad as that as sad as that sounds, I have to be honest with myself.
Right.
That I don't have a strong mother when it comes down to, when some people.
But that
my mom
also
is
kind of
strong.
gives you an
Like,
advantage in a
It-
sense. Like when I think about your level of petty,
Right.
you know what I mean? Because honestly, you
Yeah.
you can observe and you can see and you can know
Yeah.
how to, you know what I mean? You can
Right.
know certain ways to maneuver. And
Right.
some people, it's not that it's always intentional. Like I'm gonna set out to do this, but you kind of know it because you were kind of not you personally, but sometimes people can know and understand and grow into certain behaviors because they observed it as they grew up and they, you know what I mean? They
Yeah, but
know
it
the
hurt me. Though.
signs.
I'm gonna tell you how it hurt me. I said I wanted to do everything. Every man that made my mother cry, everything that made my mother hurt.
Yeah.
I don't want to treat the woman.
Yeah,
I'm
you
dealing
didn't wanna
with.
be
so
that.
I tried to do everything in
But
my
that's
power
where your
to
petty comes
please
from.
That woman, I did everything to please that woman, but became a weakness.
Exactly.
Because now the woman's using all that I'm giving you. I'm giving you love. I'm
But
giving you.
Yeah,
know what I
it
mean?
can work both ways.
And,
had
and
a-
it hurt
I
me.
think-
And it hurt me in
yeah.
the end because all that stuff that I have done for this woman
Right.
was
That
for
The
nothing.
person.
one.
No,
The
that person.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
that
person.
person.
Yeah.
That
That's-
particular person.
Yeah.
And
But how does he know that before
Yeah.
doing it? And that's
well,
the problem.
but I'm saying that was the experience,
Right.
and I'm gonna go out on a limb and
Yeah.
say this, that oftentimes men can experience hurt, right? And then it's like they experience that one hurt,
Yeah.
Oh, man.
and then they're done. You know what I mean? They that has messed them up,
Trauma.
and now they live in this whole new life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And women will experience this hurt, and then experience another hurt, and then like try to retreat back, and because always kind of longing, and it's not just a woman thing, but just generally.
But how you guys deal with it is, and it's perpetuated as a weakness for us. So so he has to stay away from it.
But and I was having this conversation, y'all, with my best friend. I was telling him, I was like, look, I said, don't you want to get to a point where you can just live and be free and live authentically and just have this just level of just love and passion and just understanding where you can be transparent and say how you feel and not have to worry, like, is this going to be used against me? Like, because of the place that I am in life, it's like I'm just tired of living inauthentically and feeling like I'm putting on or wearing a mask, and I don't want to do that anymore. Like I don't want to just exist. You know what I mean? I really want to live and be in the moment and have that, because when you really, or even when you see people that I would assume are having that, because everybody have their problems and things, but when you do hear people talk about the love and the passion that they have, and you like, well, wait a minute, like,
It's
well,
real.
what was I having, or I ain't had that, or
Yeah.
and just to hear it and just to see what comes over them and just the spiritualness of it, I'm like,
Because it's real.
I would want that. Where
And
they don't have to worry because the other person is protecting them, and they're, you know what I mean? They're protecting the other person. They're looking out for their need. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like this mutual, it's like, I would want that. So to run from it, based on past experience, it's like, do I really want my exes to jade me from
What
What could be?
What could be?
Okay, so even to that degree, like I'm listening to you, Tommy, because it's such a pure place to be when you really want to be that man, want to be that,
Right.
And I would say this, and I stand by it. It's just like that's the part where you have to say, okay, I need to become so assured of myself, so whole in myself, that you start to attract what it is that you truly desire. And I'm telling you, it will line up. It will line
Right.
up, but don't allow yourself to not get, or in other words, not get exactly what you truly, I feel like, deserve, and that true
Right.
love and all that. So it's like, again, building in there. Even what you're saying, it's just like, I think to hold, you got to be a whole person. Everybody's talking about love, this and that, but it's just like, do you know love within yourself? Because a lot of people haven't really been taught love, experienced real love. You know what I mean? So again, it's levels to it. It could be your faith. It could be so many different angles, but to the point where you're not leading with, oh God, oh my God, I'm not gonna get hurt, or you know what I mean? You're
Right.
retracting instead of just letting it all be, like, authentically. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you definitely,
Because the first,
No,
Yeah.
go ahead.
because like the first time I ever felt like a real serious hurt. I was in
Yeah.
high school. Her name was Ashley Johnson. Her birthday.
Oh,
And
wait.
Everybody.
Her address is.
let's look her
No,
up right
you're
now.
right.
But her birthday is exactly.
I am looking up her Instagram.
Nah,
and I'm
her-
just playing.
Her birthday is exactly a week before mine,
Uh-huh.
and we used to think that was so cute.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, her birthday's first. So I gotta do everything in my power
Yeah.
to make sure her birthday is special.
Oh,
you know
right.
What I mean? And stuff like that. So I'm hitting her up like, okay, I'm gonna come see you.
It sucks when your birthday is first. Like, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That was probably petty.
So I'm hitting her up. I wasn't driving. I was in high school at the time, so I was like,
It's so
14.
young. I mean,
Yeah.
think about it.
I was 15 at the time. I wasn't driving. So I'm hitting her. I'm like, okay, I have my friend. He's going to take me to come see you. I'm going to
Yeah.
come see you. I'm going to do this. I get a text back. You're doing too much. And, like, that was my first, like, I'm doing too much. And I'm trying to, like, you know what I mean? I just want to love you. You know what I mean?
See?
I just want to, it's your day.
So-
like,
Where were
It
that
sucks
Tommy?
when you
Hold-
have
hold-
like
hold
women.
on,
Hold on.
like,
I'm gonna tell you where the Tommies are.
That Tommy.
I'm gonna tell you where the Tommies are and were.
Man.
They were children.
Yeah.
Okay, but
we grow up.
Tell me there's some man Tommies.
Yeah.
Listen to me.
Come on.
Listen to me. Because look, to his point, there's a girl
Tell
out
me
there.
where they at.
Where
There's
they
a girl
at?
out
Where
there
the
I didn't
man
make it
Tommies
with
at?
because of something that happened at 5.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
Something happened to me at 5, and this girl reminded me of it, and that was that.
My God.
Couldn't trust her. You know what I'm saying? Because we never get over it.
That's
The
what
trauma.
I'm
But,
saying.
yeah. But I'm telling you the reason why.
I'm
But first off,
praying for the
but
Tommies.
back to her point. Back to her
That's gonna
point.
be our thing. Where the man Tommies at?
You're running from love.
Come out,
right?
out,
So-
Thomas.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so to her point, that's
Yeah.
all you're going to get is women that run from it.
Yeah.
So at the point that you even fall for them, they're going to repel you.
Mm-hmm.
So you ever seen this is why I respect weirdos, quote unquote weirdos. Somebody that the socialists consider
Right,
a weirdo.
right.
Dress funny, hair weird.
Yeah.
They're peacocking somehow, not because they're trying to,
Right.
They're
but just
confident.
they're being unapologetically them. And
Yes.
somehow
And whole in it,
these
like-
people always have these fruitful, great
I would
Yeah.
say
Great
there's
relationship.
somebody for
Yeah.
everybody.
You be like,
Everybody.
You be like, how did he
Get hurt.
Right.
with her?
Right.
But guess what? He was being himself,
Yes, 100%.
Right.
and whatever we thought of her,
Yeah.
and judging that book
Yep.
didn't align.
Yep.
But she saw him and was like, I
Yep.
need all of that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
See,
true.
But-
and that's what would attract.
And
to
it never would have happened had he been afraid
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
who he
Yeah,
was.
yeah,
Yeah.
who he was.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is why I always tell her like,
Preach,
look,
Detroit.
Look, I am who I
Because
am.
it's the right one out there. I'm
Yeah.
telling you that you.
Because
gonna
I be
like.
wondering, like, how Detroit get a woman? I'm-
You know what I'm saying? I had to turn her down to get one. You know what I'm saying? But
right, right.
No. But she too rich.
Yeah.
She too.
Don't
Too
Keep
rich
doing
for
what
my
you're
blood.
doing, Tommy. Like
Yeah.
seriously, come on. Like you.
Yeah. It just
Don't
it's
be
hard.
Just
though.
don't
Like,
be afraid. To
I
love,
don't.
man.
I
Yeah, don't be afraid of that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
but look, back to that point. It's all cultural. If
Yeah.
you see a man that's upon meeting him, he's like got tears in his eyes behind something. Most people will look at that not knowing him and it's like,
That's
oh,
weakness.
that's a weak moment. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? He having a weak moment. He's letting other people see him cry.
Mm-hmm.
When women do it all the time, but they're so much stronger for it because it happens and you get over it. You know what I'm saying?
You deal with
You
it.
grieve. You take your 15 minutes, go on about your day or whatever, and if you need to talk about it again, you talk about it. Me and him could be going through the exact same thing, and I could have all the answers for this cat, but I'll never know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
I'll never know because somewhere down the line, he's been taught that shouldn't happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
One of the most powerful moments I've ever seen. My best friend Ken came to my other best friend Deshaun house, and Deshaun.
You got too many best friends.
It's like
My
6
best
or 7 of
friend.
us. You know what I'm saying? But whatever.
Yeah.
My
And-
best friend got a best friend.
And Ken
Name
was
Tommy.
Ken was raised by his mom, and right now Ken's is he has like me and like 2 other friends that are like now black. You know what I'm saying? Because now he's unapologetically himself. He does a lot of
Yeah.
raving and whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. Shout out to him and his fiance, newly engaged.
Oh, nice. Congrats.
But he was raised by his mom. And I remember one day he got upset. His mom came home. They argued, and he was just like, one of the things he said was like, "Man, you ain't. I can't remember last time you gave me a hug. Like, why'd you even woo woo?" Like, and it came from left field.
Yeah.
And I asked him, and he just shut down and won't say nothing about it.
Wow.
Right? We in Carson one day, family event, and if you know my best friend Deshaun, the majority of his family are men. Like the ratio to women in his family. Really, I know it was like his mom, his aunt, his grandma, and I don't know no other women in that family.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And it's overpopulated by men. So we get in there and we laughing and we joking, crying, we hugging each other just out of laughter. And all of a sudden, Ken just lead the party.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what's wrong? And he pull everybody outside and he's giving everybody hugs and he crying. He's like, man, I ain't never seen a bunch of men like this in one place get along, be so open or whatever. And he was like, and I just need it. You know what I'm saying? I just need it. I was like, craziest thing in the world. But he can't. Where do you go to find that?
Right.
You have to create the culture. Like when I
Yeah,
go,
you do.
I know when I go and I'm around his family, like it's all love. You know what I'm saying? It's all love, and they make it a point to tell the men, like, look, you ain't got to be hard for me, because I know what you're really going through.
Right.
I know what these women really putting you through, or blah 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 blah. So you can leave that for the streets. Even if you game bang, go leave that for the streets.
Right.
But in here, you're gonna be real, because we know. But,
and again, it come back to, have you really been exposed to that example?
Right.
You know what I mean? And if you haven't, at this point, like, what can I do to attain that? You know what I mean? So, wow, that's deep.
So I'm going to give you all a little bit of information.
Okay, let's
So from time.com, the article is, should you stay friends with an ex? Here's what the experts say. So it says, few relationship questions are as polarizing as whether or not you should stay friends with an ex. For every person who tries to salvage the good and forget the bad, there's another who'd rather move on and never look back. Hence, even just this room. Anecdotal evidence feeds arguments on both sides, but what do the experts say? Rachel Suzman, a New York City-based psychotherapist and author of The Breakup Bible, advises caution when it comes to staying friends, but says there are couples for whom it works. Detroit. Ultimately, she says it's an individual determination. Nonetheless, Suzman says there are some guidelines all exes should follow after a breakup. When to cut ties with an ex. Under no circumstances should a relationship that was abusive, manipulative, or toxic transition into a friendship, Susan says. But even if your relationship was generally healthy and simply didn't work out, you might want to think twice before becoming pals. One 2000 study, for example, found that friendship between exes were more likely to have negative qualities and less likely to have positive ones than cross-sex platonic friendships. So I guess that's if you're referring to kind of like how Detroit has his practice, they're more platonic, friendships essentially, and they're more positive than they are anything else.
I've only had sex with one ex.
After. Okay. And then it says that may be especially true if you were never friends before you dated. Suzman says if you had a really strong connection and a really strong love affair with a very erotic sex life, how do you become friends with that person? Suzman says chemistry doesn't always change.
But what are we talking about here? You know what I'm saying? See, here's my thing. I think a lot of the things are based around physical situation that we're trying to prevent. You know what I'm saying? So,
well, if that, I don't know the expert, but I'm assuming what she's saying here is because you may not be able to create a boundary. If it was...
The boundary of what, though?
The boundary of maybe you don't want to still be in a relationship with them, hence the reason why you broke up, and you may not have the strength to have a friendship, because that's what she was saying, transitioning into a friendship post the relationship. You may not have the physical strength, right? You might be a little weak to be able to make that determination because you are influenced or
is the boundary about trying to get back with them?
But the boundary is just the level of where the relationship is, because let's say as Tommy was saying, like you might have one person who wants to still be in that relationship, right? And then you have another person who doesn't, but you guys had good physical chemistry, right? So it's not like there's an issue with you having sex, but the issue is that what the sex leads to, because it might communicate more from one person than it does the other. So if one person is not strong enough in that sense, of course, Like if it's Tommy and the girl hit him up and it's like, hey, yeah, I'm ready, but she's like, I want more, but he's like, nah, but he wants to just be able to like smash and dash and just keep it pushing. And the other person is like, well, no, because we had sex and I want a little bit more. Now she started calling more or whatever.
Those rules still don't apply.
But for you,
no, I'm talking about even for the regular person, like the rules.
But what this is saying that it wouldn't be a good idea for that person because what you want on the other end, not him, not Tommy, because he gets what he wants out of the situation.
Oh, okay.
For the
you get
record,
what I'm saying?
I have never broken up with anybody. For the record.
So they break up with you.
Yeah.
They leave.
Okay. I'm trying to think like when so actually in my adult life,
married in this room, right? Have you been married? Engaged? Are you married?
Okay,
I just wanted to get that just so we have a balance.
I'm gonna answer.
Have
I'm gonna
you
answer
been
the
married?
question.
Not yet.
I'm gonna
I bought
answer.
a ring.
Coming
I bought a
soon.
ring.
Oh, you bought a
Did
ring.
you
I bought a
ask?
ring.
Could we get
Huh?
Did you get on a knee
I've
though?
been engaged twice.
You've been engaged twice.
Okay,
No,
so
you said, did I get
wait
on
a
the knee?
minute.
You
How
bought
come
a
we're
ring,
just
but
getting-
did
I
you
bought a
ask?
ring. No, it never.
Okay,
it,
so-
something happened and
recently?
No, this happened about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
Okay.
I did buy a ring, but then I
Engaged
going
twice.
back.
That's a whole nother.
So I am married currently,
Okay.
but separated.
Ah.
So.
Okay.
So technically,
Okay.
So what I was thinking about, what I was going to say as far as in my adult life when I think about relationships, because I do not count high school at this point. I haven't had a bunch. So.
he has to though.
Huh?
He has.
Well, because he's
No,
closer
no.
to that. Yeah, I understand.
What do you mean he has to what?
He
Because
has to
he's-
count those.
No.
years.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. That's why I was preferencing that I don't, because
Okay, got
at
it.
this point in my life, like
Yeah.
high school to
College.
17
Still count
to
college?
33. College, I
college,
do
then adult.
count the time of college
Yeah.
because of
Some of
the
friends.
relationship
Yeah.
the
that I
network.
had, and that's what I'm saying. So, and then I didn't have a whole bunch of serious relationships. What I'm
Right.
trying to tell you, because it was like,
Listen.
I'm not, if you're not on what I'm on,
Come
like
on.
I'm handling my bit, like I'm doing
For
me,
sure.
like I'm good, And then somebody come along and. They done convinced me, and now I'm like,
I am
all
not
right, they
convinced,
they
yes.
seem like a good person, a good guy. So that's what I was gonna say.
Right.
I dated when I was, cause I was young. I was how old was I? I think I met him when I was 19, and he was 8 years older than me.
Oh.
Yeah, and so we dated for a year,
I don't know how to look at this.
but we weren't in a
R. Kelly
relationship
or-
Oh
until
my
Or
God! Here
Cooper.
we go.
Until I was
knew that
20.
was coming.
No. I was 19, but
Come
we
on,
didn't
Kelly.
we didn't officially get together until I was about
That's a
20, because I know
backdoor,
I had a
Kelly.
21st birthday
Yeah. Okay.
in our relationship.
Now you're trying to rationalize.
I'm just saying. I mean, but I was
support it.
not 18,
I support it.
Well, R. Kelly did mess with 19-year-olds though,
And
He
he-
didn't count them. Though.
and
Huh?
He didn't count, but we
he
didn't count.
wasn't-
we didn't count them.
Well,
I think it's why I think he met his wife at 9 when she was 19, and he was like 8 years older than
If
her.
he couldn't get no counts for it, we ain't tripping. No, we ain't talking about
Nope.
anyway, the
Yeah.
point is that it was a serious relationship. We dated for like a year. He was actually going to propose. Like we talked about like
Wow.
this stuff, and at the time
Yeah.
I was like, because my parents had gotten married young. Shout out to my parents. Yes, who
Yeah.
celebrated
doing?
39 years
39
of
I miss
marriage
y'all.
Yes.
on March 21st. So that's like super dope, because I was like, 39 years. I was like, Lord. I told my
on.
mom, I said,
You
you
ain't even
celebrating
39.
Listen.
39 years
ongoing,
I'm
and
looking forward.
I'm
to
over here not making it.
You-
But
you
That's
39.
LA. No, I'm just saying LA. Listen, I'm
What
like
about
on
LA?
that, like until I see, and I'm like, okay.
And then
but
my mom
yeah,
was like,
I'm-
"There's
Wait,
still
time out,
hope."
time
And then
out.
I was
There
like,
is
"But
hope.
look,
Time out.
39 years.
What's
Wait,
LA?
stop.
Yeah, what's that?
It's not 39 years of hope though.
Dating in LA, it's a hope.
You have to also understand, coming from a different
Yeah.
place,
Yeah.
it's different.
Y'all way
I've
more
dated
turned up in
women
the bay
from
than
different
out
places.
here
No,
though.
you know
Y'all
what?
way
It's a
And,
little
more
and,
bit-
turned
that's
up.
probably why
I've
the
dated
level
women
of
from-
tolerance is much
Yeah,
lower.
It is very much. And not
You
only
get
that,
what I'm
Y'all way
in the
more.
Bay,
I messed
Oakland-
with a girl from the bay one
But
time.
I know,
Y'all
No,
way
yeah, I'm
but
good
you
on
know
that.
everybody. You know, I grew up there,
Yeah.
so it's kind of like, you know, and I think too, and it's so crazy. Like even as an adult, I find people reaching out like from back in the day. I'm just like, wait, what now?
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's kind of like
Social media helps
Yeah.
the communication with the
like all
exes,
of a
too.
sudden it's
Because if there wasn't social media, I think
Yeah.
it'd be
It would be a whole-
harder
yeah, I
to
believe.
Well,
keep in
the
contact,
I
because you
majority
change
of
your
my-
address, you change your number,
Right.
you
You
know
a
what I
whole
mean?
nother person. I'm
Yeah.
like, first of all,
But the
yeah.
majority of my exes, like, they know me. Like, they can call my
Yeah.
brother or my sister or my, somebody.
Yeah.
Like
So I mean,
I talked to a few
Yeah.
exes. Yeah,
so
we're good.
kind of what I was trying to say is that okay, so we broke up, but I ended it because I didn't feel like it was progressing to where it needed to be. He was where he needed to be. I was going to be happy in that situation. So I ended that particular situation. The next relationship didn't happen until, because that was 2007. Like, I didn't date somebody again until
20.
You
So
guys
that's before. So is this
You-
before he
2010.
proposed, or you guys were just speaking?
we
about
were talking
marriage?
about
Okay.
it. He might have bought a ring, but at post the conversation, it was like, you know.
But they don't like. He didn't try to fight. And
Oh
try-
no,
and
yeah,
that-
no,
you know.
no, absolutely. He wasn't trying to like let me go like that, but I just knew that it wasn't going to be right. You know what I mean? And so for me, it was just kind of like,
But what about that?
jeez, Louise.
Well,
That's
Babyface got.
crazy. I'm sorry. I'm saying that about the time,
like,
but we
Yeah,
we
I
all
would-
right.
yeah,
We
I
all
would
right.
too.
But what about like what if though? Like you never know. Like Babyface
No,
got a
no,
song
no.
called What If. Like you
No,
never
no,
know.
no.
Like
You
what
know.
if?
But you
No, no,
know,
no.
'cause
I
I've
know.
seen
I
a ring
knew.
too,
I knew
honey.
because it was more of red flags of
Yeah.
signs of how he was, like
Yeah.
jealousy, like
See?
certain things
Oh,
that
yeah.
just
I've had that.
didn't sit well with me. And then again, I
Controlling.
had those conversations with other people, and I
Mhm.
was seeing the light and the bliss, and I was like,
Yeah.
I don't have that. I don't experience that, and I want that, and I don't believe that that's what I have. And then the next relationship, like I said, was some years later, but that ended. You know, he cheated or whatever. But I can say now we're not friends. So we don't communicate like that. But these people, because sometimes you run into the same areas, so you might run into them, you know, at the same place or whatever. I am connected with exes on social media, which I think is funny because I mean it's like, you know, their birthday, you know what I mean? It's like, hey, you know, but I did contact an ex
Since you've been married.
when I was married,
Okay.
yes, specifically to ask questions about myself
Wow.
in the previous relationship to see if it was comparable to something current that was going on.
Very interesting.
See, a guy like me,
very
when like,
interesting.
say if you came at me like that, I'll
Uh-huh.
try to like wiggle my way back in.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? If you actually
You still
ask me
young.
questions,
You still.
like I would. Like
But
I
no,
feel
but-
like
but
you're
he's
vulnerable.
also-
I'll
If
take
you're not-
advantage
No,
of
but
you
he's
being vulnerable
also
at the moment.
married, and you know what I mean? So I had to, because
Oh,
of
okay.
understanding marriage and
Yeah.
trying to be respectful in the fact of how that kind of looks or feels, you know what I mean? Because again, as a wife, you're like, well, why, you know, why this person hitting you up or whatever? It's more of like, well, first, you know, no disrespect to your situation and, you know, whatever. Because I always try to be mindful of those things, even though people aren't mindful of those things when it comes to me. But I do, because I think about the bigger picture. Hence the reason why I try not to be petty, because I'm like, I don't want somebody to be petty to me, you know? So you try to put out there, give out, you know, what you want
I
to
can't
come
wait till
back
I
to
get
you. And so you said what?
I can't wait till I get there.
It's
where,
coming for
where it
you,
just,
Tommy.
you know
Look,
what
I'm
I
gonna
mean?
speak that and look,
Right.
prayer. Like you, no, I'm serious. You're gonna find that woman that's aligned with, you know, everything that you and
Right.
pray about. No, I'm gonna be like, let's be all the way real. Like there's different elements. I don't know where you are, just in, you know, your faith walk, but I'm saying a lot of things line up. You know, so as long
Right.
as you're whole and you're focused, things will start to attract to you.
Well, I
telling
think
you.
I
And
never
don't be
lived with
afraid.
a woman. I never lived with a woman, so I don't know how it is on
Oh
a
my
day
God.
basis.
It's really living with the man that's the issue. I mean, you live with a
No,
woman,
you know
you
what
got,
I
I
mean? Waking
mean,
up
Me and the
every
homies and have
day.
plenty. Me and the homies and have plenty
you
of
got
that.
a
Yeah.
home, you know what I
Don't
mean?
rush
You got-
that. Just
Yeah,
Right,
You gotta
right.
wake up every day.
But
and,
don't-
like, you know, that scares me.
Well, you
Yeah.
know what?
It
When I
scares me.
got married,
So I gotta please you every day.
well,
every
see,
day.
let me say this:
Yeah.
when I got married, because that was kind of one of the things that was in my head. I was like, man, like that's, you know, forever
That's
is
true.
a long time. And I talked to my god brother, and he told me, and you might know him, Dream.
Okay.
Dream. He gave me like, he's like marriage. Anyway. Goals for everybody. But he gave me some really, really good advice. He was just kind of like, you know what, you have to do it one day at a time. You know what I mean? So when you talk about please never, you don't even think about
overwhelming.
all the rest of the days because it's
Right.
too much. It's
Yeah.
way too much.
Right.
And it's overwhelming. So it's like, no, let's just deal with today.
right.
And then as you get through today, then you're able to get through the next day. And mentally for me, it just helped me a little bit with my anxiety. It
Right.
obviously didn't
Yeah.
help me with my marriage. But it was just one of those things where it was
Right.
like, you know, okay, I can understand it in that way because taking on a whole 365
Right.
days of the year and and beyond was way too much on day one. You know what I mean? Because I was carrying too much of mental heavy load.
Right.
But I believe, let me just say, I still believe in marriage and all that other stuff. But this thing with the exes, it just becomes so much harder if you don't have that good place and that good relationship. And to be perfectly transparent, it's like where I am now, it's like I'm just trying to get to the good place because I have to. Like I don't have a choice. I don't have a choice, and we have to communicate.
Right.
Definitely.
Regardless, because we have a child together. So that's one of the other things that was talking about. Just when you have an ex, trying to stay. If you have children, trying to stay in a good place or on good terms, because
Yes, that's very
again, you
Very
have
important.
to stay in contact, and that's why. I'll give all my advice for other days when we have more time. And it's like, dang, we already got to. How did that happen? Like, where did 9 o'clock come from? So fast. And I mean, we don't have to stop right away, but we can and we will. We can bring it to, have a final. Let me see if there's a question I want to ask you guys before.
Please
Anybody
do.
on this?
Hey, well, ain't nobody behind us. Well, she didn't
Yeah, she's
plug the
pulling
thing
it
up.
The what? What did I
Yes.
plug up?
Let's see.
What is that?
That allows
Who
us
has
to
a
see
question out there?
Oh, no. That goes into the laptop. It doesn't go into, would be Charles's laptop.
Oh,
Not, because,
I'm
yeah.
talking about-
Y'all really
you're
having this?
Yeah, no, but this, yeah. Y'all, forgive Detroit. You trying to talk to me and tell me
Do
about
you
what
play?
I didn't plug in.
Saying
You
and
not
I'm
doing
looking
that
at
wasn't
your
my job.
screen,
I
and
got all
we
of
could be
these
looking at
things
your
to control
screen.
over here. You could bring in a laptop so that it could be plugged in to look at the chat
It's
screen.
in the shop, all right?
You get what I'm saying? Why you getting at me?
Whatever.
Oh, closure.
Yes.
What about it?
Is closure with an ex necessary?
Yes.
I say yes. And for what I believe in soul ties. I believe that in order for you to walk through that new path or whatever, because I feel like at the end of the day, if it's over and it's done, I'm just like, when I move forward, I move forward. I don't want anything blocking me from my past. That's just where I am. But I do believe that it has to be a balance, a healthy balance. Like I'm not going to be checking like, girls do now, checking your social, checking out.
Yeah.
No, you have to disconnect, even to the point
Well, you
where
also have to know that even if
Yeah.
they're out of sight
Yeah.
and out of mind,
Yeah.
that they're not out of your
Right.
heart
Yeah.
and your feelings. And so sometimes I
Yeah.
think maybe
Facts.
going back to see that would let you know. Because if something is triggered once you're into something new and you thought you were over, because that happened to me.
It's
Like
time,
I thought I
though,
was
yeah.
over it and done,
Uh-huh.
and then I was like, wasn't even looking for it, and it was
Right.
like, oh,
Yeah.
ooh.
So you got to be, like I said, you got to be truthful.
Right,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
And sometimes it may be that time. So, but I'm good. I don't, I'm good. I've run into an ex or two, talked to them. Like, it's, it's all love. It's all good. There's nothing.
And that's the
kinda
best place to
weird.
be
Yeah,
in
and it's
to
so much
feel
peace.
that.
We can have
Yeah,
conversations.
right.
Talk about some creative. Like, we're good. I'm like, okay.
Laugh about-
maybe that's just maturity and
Right.
just, yeah. And it's like you grow. You know what I mean? Like, we're all adults. Like, you grow. And it's just like, wow, we were so young and we thought what love was. And it's just like, nah, that wasn't it.
Right.
So,
Well, with me, I think it's possible. Please forgive my immaturity. I'm
No,
sorry.
you're all right.
No.
But this is my closure.
The Lion
She
King.
cheated on me,
Circle of life.
and while she was with her girl, I got her to sleep with me again, and I was the man after
Oh,
that.
all
I
right.
was
And
cool.
that was closure enough.
That was good.
Closure.
It was funny because might be a little too much, but after she got up and went to the bathroom, go clean up, I got up out the bed. I did a little dance, and I was like, then I laid back down. And I said, I'm done.
Right,
It was like a monkey, like it's over.
right.
I called up my friends. I said, you know what, this happened.
You know,
I'm good
Tommy,
now.
I'm convinced if this is Queen Petty,
right.
Right?
That right there, King Kim for petty. That's King Petty. For
you king.
cross the pieces across the board, like for real.
That's what I'm saying. If
Write you a
that's the
ticket right
barometer,
now.
I
My
know I'm
God.
not petty.
My goodness.
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm petty
saying
free.
excuse
You
the
making it
immaturity.
real
I'm
hard.
petty free.
I was saying excuse the immaturity. Like, excuse it.
But see, that's very wise of you. You know what I'm saying?
And last question: should you disclose information about your ex with your new partner?
No.
You got to be more specific.
Yeah.
Like what information?
You tell me. Is there a level? Is there?
If there's pertinent information that you needed to know, which I can't really conjure up at this
We
moment.
just didn't work
But-
out. That's all that
let's just-
matters.
But if like about you or specifically about
Yeah.
the person.
Well, I mean, how can you talk
Well,
about
like this.
yourself?
Okay, yes. So
and-
if I ask you the question, and it's vital to
Because this is, let me tell you kind of a little context
answer
as
is
to why
yes.
I'm answering,
The answer is
this. Okay, so I'm married, so, but I own the rights to my story.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying? But I also am connected to the situation as to things that happen and or me, and then moving forward and new things, old things, or whatever. There's some things that I feel like, okay, after it's like you said, it's over and done with, it's not important to me.
Mm-hmm.
But then somebody may feel like that you're hiding or
Withholding.
withholding information because you're not talking about it.
right.
Because people want to know kind of who you are based on who you were, based on maybe some of the decisions and choices that you've made in previous relationships.
Would you be scared they're gonna try to hold that against you though, or keep throwing that in your face? So that's why it is, or that's why y'all didn't work.
It's
out?
possible.
Tommy, it's possible, but you
Yeah.
don't have a choice. Now,
Yeah.
I think the better term would be past. Because she said X, and it seems like very specific how you were about Ashley Johnson. And
We know the name.
And she been out.
Right.
And so, while the X is Ashley Johnson, the past could be what Ashley Johnson did to you.
Yeah.
And while
Right.
we don't need to know who Ashley Johnson is. It's pertinent that somebody knows what role a specific woman played in your
Yeah.
life.
Because
Right.
But
people
not
also try to
specifically
cater it to
that
that
woman.
person, to
Mhm.
Ashley.
think
You get
you're
what I'm
right.
saying? Where
Yeah.
it's like, no. But what did you do, and how did you?
Now,
Right.
And
now,
your
la-
But I think a
ladies-
lot of kids, I think a lot of men, a lot of my problems come from my mother. I think a lot of us come
that's
from
the,
like our,
that's the
that,
gen-
that's where it
that's
starts.
the genesis of it.
Yeah.
But you have to control it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Look, ladies, what we are not gonna do is have you do the exact same thing that you did before with somebody else, or
Yeah.
vice versa, that you didn't do with somebody else, and we know the exact thing that is, and you not take credit for it when you gave us the information. So let me clear this up.
Okay,
All right.
I know what
So-
you're saying.
I hear it. I'm following.
So, you used to take your last boyfriend to, I don't know, Lowry's every weekend, right? But now I'm with you, and you're like, yeah, I don't do that. And we can't go out, we don't really go out to eat. And it's like, all right, well, what's the deal? You know what I'm saying? Like, so now, like, there's a clear discrepancy of what love was like. Now, even though you may not, what may be going on may not be because of, him, it's my only point of reference until you give me another one. But it's also a snapshot of what you were like when you were really in love. You know what I'm saying? Even if that's changed, I know where you can go when you're fully unlocked. I've never lived this down, but I can't refute it. I used to give this girl my paycheck every Friday. I got paid working at the airport.
Wow.
I got cleared for football. It was a lifelong situation to get cleared for football. It finally happened. I went to work. I went to the gym. Football is the only thing I cared about. Essentially, not deliberately paying her to stay away, but she had a lot of shopping vices, and I knew she would be away. So hey, look here. I just need this for my gym membership, food, whatever. You can have the rest. I told that to the mother of my child, and she's like, hold on, like, I have to ask you for X, Y, and Z.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, why don't you just come home? And I'm like, well, and so I explained to Will, I was in a different space then. I
Right.
didn't know any
Right.
better. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was really goal driven. You know what I'm saying? Like, now if a situation arises like that where I can not, like, I'll do that to this day on Sunday because I don't want to be bothered. Take my car. You can go do what you got to do. You know what I'm saying? That's as close as it comes to that.
Yeah.
But as far as giving my whole paycheck, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't like that. But I never get mad at her when she brings it up, because she'll be like, well, she can tell my friend or my girlfriend now. I'm like, well, yeah, if X, Y, and Z hadn't screwed him over, you know what I'm saying? He probably wouldn't have been with me, you, or he'd probably still be with her. You know what I'm saying? Blah, blah, blah. But she would bring it up consistently.
Yeah.
But I allowed her to because I gave her that information.
Right.
And it's something that I'm not doing anymore.
You know what, too? I get it. And I think, too, I don't know, just something that popped in my mind when you got to think about, like, everybody has their broken moments. And
Right.
it's like, how much brokenness are you bringing into this new thing? You know what I mean? Like, the traumas and all that. So,
A lot.
like, it goes back to, like, what are you really suffering with? What are you really going through? You know what I mean? So, I think, just, I don't know. It's just one of those things where you have to take that time for yourself to heal and really process whatever that was. So, because that's baggage. People say, well, I don't have kids. I don't have this and that. But, like, your
You have-
brokenness
yes.
is baggage.
Yes.
So I think we need to check that at the door.
And that's why the answer to your question is
Yeah.
yes. Just in case, I'm
Yeah.
actually here for you.
Right.
Like if there's nothing you can do to get rid
That
of me,
part.
Right.
then I need to know all that so I can know how to cater to you.
Yeah.
Right.
But if I don't, now these
Yeah.
passive aggressions
Right.
that are happening toward
Yeah.
me, I'm taking so personal
Right.
because I'm doing
'Cause it's
everything in
attack
my
on you
possible,
now.
and I'm
Right.
like, but I don't know where it's coming from, and I can't deal with it straight up because you haven't given it to me straight up. And now, in my mind, you don't love me no more. You don't love,
Right.
you never loved me. You did.
Word up. Well,
That
we've
was-
had let me do my yeah, we reached the end of the show and it was amazing. We've been talking about exes. If you have more commentary, you can hit us up on social media and give your comments. And next week, I'm not going to tell you what we're talking about because we might change it. But I know Miss Deidre is wanting to talk
Yes.
about these women out here proposing to these
Come
men.
on, we're gonna have the
I hope I
discussion.
can. I just asked.
Let's
I said, can
go.
you
I'm
please
ready.
propose to me?
So hold your commentary. What I'm gonna
have
let y'all do
Please
is
propose.
listen to Detroit's Poetic Minute,
Oh, I
and
need
yes,
to-
I am giving you your countdown, and you will hear the buzzer. And we're gonna do it.
think I let that
Something.
go.
We're gonna do it something like you ready?
Jesus, I
Okay.
had almost let that go.
Come on.
Okay. You ready?
I'll do my best.
Well,
Promise
do
you.
what you do. Here we go.
Do I get background music?
No, you get my buzzer. I like your but this time I want to hear you.
Oh, okay.
And you already lost 10 seconds.
Come on
Oh,
now.
okay. So, first off, people, don't be afraid. Ashley J, because of you, other people dealing with Tommy have now paid. All he cares about is getting laid. All right, so friends with benefits actually benefit you when you have no other friends that you need to benefit you up when you come to tell you about yourself. A lot of us can be poison food and just sit ourselves on the shelf. We don't want to do that. Let's open ourselves up for dialogue. Let's open ourselves. I'm sorry. Let's open myself
You
up.
over here dying. You got 16 seconds. Don't die.
I was totally unprepared. But anyway, I had
Freestyle it.
I had it written, but it's not the same thing. I'll do it. I'll say it for her. You can post it on the thing. I'll do it on Instagram or whatever. But shout out to all the exes. You know what I'm saying? You still my friends.
All right. See y'all next week.
I had to let that go. I thought we ended so far.